Good afternoon, YouTube. Captain Paul here with Captain Jim. You got your since we met last, you got your captain's license, right?
Yep.
6-pack, 25 ton, 50 ton.
25
ton. Okay, because that's what this boat qualifies you for.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
And then but a lot of things have changed because you bought this boat 3 years ago. Me and you went and picked it up in Panama City.
You found it.
Yeah, I found it, and then we went and picked it up in Panama City. And today I want to talk a little bit about after the 3 years and what it took to get it cruise ready, let's say. Because when you picked it up, I say the boat was in pretty decent shape for a 79,000 36 gram Banks.
Yep.
After looking at a bunch of them.
Yep.
Engine room was a fairly, but I'll tell you what, the electrical system was a wreck. When we picked it up, remember we had to get a generator. It was a mess.
We had a number of different individual messes, but collectively, it was not fun. However, whenever you buy a 42-year-old boat, something's going to have to be fixed, and so I didn't really worry about it too much.
Yeah, and it was like, and then we had some interior things that needed to be fixed on the boat, and but all in all, the boat, like the engine room in this boat, was always been very, very nice.
2 owners ago, the owner spent a ton of money on this boat. He took care of it like it was his own little baby. But then when he sold it to the guy in Florida, he didn't put any money into it at all. And he let the sun, bake the teak. And so a lot of the teak on the interior of the boat started to delaminate. And then the exterior teak was in pretty sad shape as well.
Yeah, I remember that. And then, but I want to talk about so now correct me if I'm wrong here, but we paid $79,000 for the boat.
Yep.
I think I told you when you bought the boat that you'll probably be another $100,000 into the boat.
Yep.
And
you were right.
And everybody says I'm crazy when I tell them these numbers, but I think you actually went over that a little bit too, right?
Yeah, I did. But again,
some of it's
one of the things that you taught me is that there are 2 ways to invest in upgrades and things like that, and one is to do all the labor yourself.
Yes. And
that's how you've always done it. And you started off with a $25,000 dollar trawler, but then you put all of the labor into it yourself. Had you not done that, it would have been it would have been impossible.
Well, it would have been $100,000.
Right. Well, I was still working, and so from my perspective, I just decided to have everything done, and so we're at opposite ends, of the spectrum.
Yeah, right.
And I'm now back, now that I'm retired, I'm back to wanting to do it all myself. But for the first couple of years, I had it all done. And you pay a price for that.
Correct, because you want to enjoy the boat too.
That's right.
You don't want to sit here and play games for the next 5 years and get it to the level where you're comfortable with the boat.
Yeah. And
it took all of that $100,000 basically, because we had to. You put new electrical panels on it.
Yep.
Put a new. They redid the 110 because when we got here to the marina, it wouldn't even plug into power correctly because I think they had a ground bar.
Yeah. The old trawlers, the old boats are not wired to handle the current technology that they put in modern marinas today, and so we were tripping.
The breaker, yeah. Every time.
And so it all had to do with using a common ground, using a common neutral and things like that, and so an electrician had to go in there and separate that all out and really upgrade the whole AC side of the electrical system.
And then another big upgrade was all new electronics.
All new electronics.
Cranky got replaced.
Yeah, I had to put Cranky to
bed. But Cranky, we kept the motor for Cranky.
Yes.
And but the head and everything, and it's amazing, right? Because now you have the new modern technology.
Yeah,
just touch screen,
and it's very accurate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you recall on our delivery, some days Cranky wouldn't work,
right?
Or some days it would.
I know that was one of those you would hit it in 5. Yeah.
All of a sudden, it would just go off on its own. It was kind of crazy, but now it's very reliable and. It's a new 9-inch Garmin unit, and with
upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah,
nice.
And it was worth every penny.
And then another big labor thing, or another big cost, and I'll show you some pictures here. These interior pictures was with the steering wheel, all that station. A lot of these were delaminated. These walls in here.
Yep.
And so they came in and put all new veneers on the walls and stuff like that. Was expensive too, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that job all by itself was like $35,000 because it was a combination of 2 things. You needed a carpenter that would know how to take the delaminated teak veneer, take it off and put new veneer on.
Right.
And then I had a varnisher from the Caribbean that actually took this whole interior down to the wood and revarnished the whole thing on the inside, and that was pretty pricey.
Yeah, and if you want that done, but again, if you went to buy this boat brand new today, you're looking at well in excess of $1 million.
Yeah, that's what the surveyor said.
And so, like, you know, to put that $35,000 to get these walls where you want them, you know what I'm saying? I think it was worth it, and it took it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I honestly think, like, if you ever did go to sell this boat, it's not going to be that $120,000 Grand Banks. This one's way past that.
Right.
I've heard of these things selling as for much as 200 grand,
Yep.
and I would say that this one's in that class just because it's got all new canvas, all new electronics, all of the interior teak has been done.
The engine room is pristine.
Engine room is absolutely probably one of the prettiest engines. I show you guys a couple pictures of it, but just absolutely pristine, and it was all reworked, like all the plumbing, everything in the boat.
Yep.
And so it's worth it, you know, because like I said, it was a huge investment, but you're getting ready to take off in it, right?
Yep, I'm going to take it down to Georgia and leave it there for the winter, and decided to leave it in the water year round.
There.
It's when you're in the Northeast, your only other option is to take it out of the water and put it up, you know, and put shrink wrap around it and all that type of thing. It's a real shame to do that for 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, like the boat I just delivered, the Hatteras, was that couple. They're going to live on that thing full time, and so we'll see. I'd be interesting to talk to them in another year, see what happens, you know, as their liveaboard experience. And it's right downtown New York, so we'll see what happens with that. But you pulled yours out every year, put it into a covered situation.
Yeah, so I could work on the exterior teak and things like that. Yeah. And that was another project. But that was a project that I chose to do myself. And I took the exterior teak, all the trim, everything, all down to the wood, and then I built it up with 10 or 12 coats of varnish. So now it's...
That steering wheel looks amazing, dude. That's that electrical panel. Anyway, and you were telling me, like, now you wish you could do the 12-volt, the new stainless refrigerator, a couple other little things. But
that brings up another very interesting point, is that when you've got a 42-year-old trawler, when do you start saying no?
No, yeah, and
right?
and you've reached that limit.
Oh yeah, there's so many things you'd like to do to bring it back to its original, shape, and at some point you've just got to accept the charm of the
what it is
of what it is right now, and then you live with it.
But it's an absolutely. I don't think there's one. I'm trying to think of one that's on the market, but I don't think there's one this pristine on the market right now. And so I think if you ever did so, but you never would, because this is your last boat.
Yeah.
You won't buy another.
I think it is.
You won't do another boat because.
Although I saw a Beneteau today and started salivating.
Yeah, Jim he went with me to the Beneteau that we're going to take down to Florida, and he started. They're nice boats, dude. Yeah. Very maneuverable, wide body,
and it was
fast.
And it was modern.
Yeah, it's modern, and but it is not. I mean, the beauty of this boat from the outside is it's breathtaking.
The other thing I love about this boat too is its simplicity. You know, it's got a single Ford Lehman engine. It's naturally aspirated. It's so simple, and it just works. It's like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, it's not going to be like this one's had new transmission. The engine's gone through everything on this boat. That's got a new generator in it. It's got a new. So this boat's been gone through. Does that make sense? So it's like you're already there to where it's already got newer features than even that 2011 Beneteau. And so why start over?
I wouldn't start over.
Plus, this is a double cabin, 2 bathroom.
Plus, I'm still in love with the looks of this boat and
the Grand Banks too.
And the Grand Banks and the look of those old style Grand Banks. I think they're so much prettier than even the new ones that they built today. Yeah,
and I like another thing amazing about the Grand Banks. It's one of the few hulls because I'm not a big 42 fan. I don't like the 42 Classic. I like the 42 My Yacht
or Europa.
Or Europa.
42 Europa. I was on one last summer. And
it's a beautiful.
Oh my God, it's so
that's a different boat. Or the Grand they're different boats.
But again, you're talking about 2 engines. There's a lot more complexity. It's bigger. What I love about this boat is that you can single-hand it if you want to, or it's a great 2-person boat.
Yeah, and then it's possible that you and Donna could even loop this thing over the next couple of years if it's in the.
Well, I hope she's not watching this video, but that is my goal. Is
Yeah.
to get her to
Want
want to do that.
to loop it. So
Yeah.
it'd be amazing to see it. And if it doesn't happen though, even all these big long trips you take, because
Yeah.
I see you out there. I'm on your thing, and I get an email now still today about every trip that you take on it. And you take the boat out quite a bit.
Yeah, I do. I took
Is it
out-
still your office too?
It is.
So you still, even though you're kind of partially retired now.
I'm partially retired, but I still do some consulting. So I put Starlink on it, and Starlink is the best thing since sliced bread, and it allows you to basically, to have an office right here on the boat. And it's interesting because you'll be on a Zoom call with someone, and then all of a sudden they hear a seagull in the background.
Yeah, that's funny.
Are you in your boat? I'm in my remote office.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, but it allows you to work, and it's a nice place to work from.
Yeah, and so when you guys are looking at these boats, the realistic is, because what would you say your average labor rate was? It was probably close to $200 an hour.
Up here in the Northeast, it's 200. But interestingly, when I go back down south,
It gets a little cheaper.
I think it's a lot cheaper. You go down to Georgia, and it's a lot cheaper.
Florida's not.
Florida's not.
No, yeah, our mechanics down there are $200 an hour.
Are they 200?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't take long, because an oil change on one of these engines right here, let's just say it's a 5-hour, $1,000 labor.
Yeah.
And then plus the parts. So it's an oil change on one of these things would be about $1,300 with all the parts.
Yeah. Because they also do the generator, and they change the fuel
filters
and
everything. So it would be,
by the time you're done,
about $1,300. Could be about a 4 or 5 hour job. But I think they also they charge you the trip fee, the freaking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all the other. I mean, just because they put 4 hours in the boat, it's about a 5-hour labor bill.
But I'm doing that all myself now. There's so many things that I want to do myself, because it really helps you become one with the boat.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take it cruising and something goes wrong, you have to kind of know, how to deal with that, and you have to know where everything is. And
your head was an issue. Like one of the toilets, I think. Remember, there was
Yep.
a valve, and
Yep.
you had to crawl in there, and, and we're old, and it's hard to
Yep.
crawl around there. But you had to get in there. The valve was, or the relief tube, right,
Yeah.
or the air tube,
the
air vent.
The air vent was broken
Broke
off.
it,
Yeah.
and it was making a smell in the
Yeah.
boat, and then we were never pumping out the front tank because there was a valve to turn, and we never knew
we
that.
never knew where it was.
Yeah, and so that front tank has always just been full until
Yeah.
you figure that. How long did it take owning the boat to find that out?
A year.
Yeah, that's funny.
It was the following spring when we commissioned the boat, and that tank was still full and never got emptied during the the winterization. And so I just crawled around in the engine room and started tracing around where the pipes went, and then all of a sudden I found this valve, and I went, "Wow, what does this do?" And I turned it the other way, and now I know how to pump out this boat.
Yeah, even with
a two-step process.
Even with Tim, on the Hatteras I just got off of, it was like we popped a fuse and we could not figure out how to turn these lights on. But I said, it's got to be a GFI somewhere. So sure enough, we just started going to all the outlets. And he even came as far as unplugging the one, and the GFI was hid behind the plug.
Yeah.
And then he pushed the GFI, everything fired back up. But it took us a few minutes to figure that out. And it's really just getting down there and now he could have paid an electrician to come out there and diagnose that and tell him for probably around $300 to $400.
I still believe, though, that before you hire that electrician, before you hire that mechanic, you should try to fix it yourself. Because
100%.
If you can do that, then you learn more about the
boat. Yeah, 100%.
So I'm now in that mode now, and I don't really want to continue to swipe the credit card as much as I've been doing.
Yeah, right. You got to think about true retirement.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Exactly. Anyway, but it's a absolutely beautiful, beautiful boat.
I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, and it's you got years and years right now of cruising aboard it, and many more years to come. And somebody even after you, like if I'm in the market, this boat is on my list already.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if I'm 5 years out from buying a boat, this boat's on my list, and I'm checking back about every 2 years to see, hey, and I got your name and your phone number.
Right.
And then and because it's worth paying the more money, because you're going to stick it in there no matter what, if you want it to this quality.
that's a key. That's a key part. If you want it to a certain level of quality, but if you're going to be out in it a lot and you want to be able to enjoy it, I want the teak to look good.
Yeah, right.
I want certain things done, and and you pay a bit of a price for that. Other people are happy.
Yeah, right. It doesn't have to be pristine and perfect. And none of them are.
No.
Not even a brand new boat. I can go and pick a brand new boat apart too. But
right.
Anyway, this thing is as close, as you can just tell that it's washed, it's clean. It's got probably one of the cleanest engine rooms that's of any of the boats on this channel.
And it turns a lot of heads. People are always
100%.
complimenting me on the dock, and
100%.
And I have a checklist up there that I didn't show you, but it's a checklist of everything I go through every time I go out and when I'm shutting the boat down. And at the very end, my wife laughed at my very last line on my checklist, which was turn around and admire the boat before you walk off.
Yeah, because it's worth it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, peace out. If you guys got any questions too, or need any, Jim's always answering. He'll, especially if you're in the market for that Grand Banks, he'll help you with answering any questions that you might have and stuff like that. One of the most important things when he went to buy this boat was the guts itself. These fuel tanks on the boat look brand new, like they were just put in here.
They were also tested and the fuel was polished
before we ever left.
Yeah, that was key because I remember looking at a couple different Grand Banks, and one of them, the fuel tanks were very questionable.
Yeah.
And I didn't buy it for that reason.
Yeah.
It was the fuel tanks.
Yeah.
Because the fuel tanks, if I recall, was a $30,000 job all by itself.
Yeah,
and it's messy and it's involved.
Right. So so you got to keep that into consideration too when you're looking.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, peace out. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Share it with your friends, and we thank you guys so much. Can't do the channel without you guys. Anyway, appreciate it. And it was nice having you, Jim. It was nice seeing you again.
It's great seeing you too.
And it seems like we see each other, I don't know, one or two times a year now.
Yeah.
So it works out great. Anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Bye.